Hello, ladies. Welcome to today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited to spend the next however many minutes with you, especially because we're going to be talking exercise equipment, which is very fun to me to talk about. I was just chatting with a friend about this the other day in person, and she asked exactly this, like, what do I need? What should I start with? And the very first two things on my list today are the two items I told her. So, yes, rest assured before, you might be listening to this and you're like, we are not in a place to be buying all this equipment, but I'm interested. I want to start working out from home, or I just want to start working out in general. And you can do it super bare bones. And I've been there. I've done that super bare bones. We've grown it over time. It's still not even, as crazy as some people's home gyms. So to get into all that, what is really essential, how we did it on the cheap, all of that. Now we're at the end of January here. I hope you've had a really good month so far. And I wanted to invite you and let you know that the Chasing Greatness group is our monthly workout group. That's really more than a workout group, but what it does consist of is monthly workout plans with PDFs, with full pre-recorded videos, an amazing community of women who are supporting each other, chatting with each other on Slack and the Facebook group, all of that, and meal plans, monthly focuses, lots of good stuff coming up. So this is more for my ladies who have worked with me before. If you've not worked with me, I encourage you to hold off and begin with an 8-week challenge or the 8-week fat loss program. The next one that's available, because we're already going right now, will be in the spring. So you might want to hold off for that. But if you've worked with me in the past, this is your invitation to come try out the Chasing Greatness group. Occasionally, ladies do flip flop it and try the Chasing Greatness group. What generally does happen is they end up pausing Chasing Greatness, doing the 8-week, because they realize, oh, I need a little more nutritional foundation, because that is the program, the 8-week, where I really go into the basics of nutrition. But some ladies have hopped right into Chasing Greatness and have stayed there the whole time, because then maybe we've done like a little nutrition together on the side as a package, or in a coaching call to kind of catch up. So this is your invitation as we're looking to start February to come join us. There is a free trial too, a 2-week free trial on my website if you'd like to test it out. All right. So, and I'll go into actually what I use in the workouts and things. But so in the 8-week program and in my postpartum program and in my pregnancy program, I do only focus on these first two items. So what you need, I only have two things here: a set of heavy and light dumbbells and bands. And that is truly it. Now, what I was just chatting about with my friend was, she's like, well, what's heavy, what's light? I consider the light to be mostly what you're going to use for upper body, like bicep curls and lateral raises, triceps, that kind of stuff. And then something heavy that you're going to row with, you're going to use for back, you might use for chest, you could squat with or deadlift with, RDL with, those kinds of weights. So for most beginners, if you're a real beginner, I would say it could be 5s and 10s. It could be like 8s and 15s. 10s does tend to be too light for the squatting and rowing. Even if you're newer, usually you get strength gains very quickly, where in 1 or 2 weeks, you're going to find it's too light. So like an 8 and 15 would be even more ideal, even a 5 and 15 if you needed 5s, if your upper body is really weak, but that 15 for your heavier. It is a little bit relative. So I think what we started with was, I want to say we had 125-pound dumbbell, and I know I had 5s forever. So I definitely had 5s and 125. And then I think 10s maybe. So very quickly, and I'll get into this, I had asked for 15s for a birthday present or Christmas or something like that, and had gotten 15s to kind of fill that gap in between. So that's what you need, is essentially some dumbbells. You will maybe find that you need heavier, different, etc., as you lift, as you get stronger. So going the adjustable route might be your best start. That is not how we started. We started, like I said, with the 125 and whatever else we had. So we had just the real sets of dumbbells first. And what I just did was, when we could, and it was never when we could afford another one. It was when we asked for it for a gift, like the 25 we already had. And then I either asked for, or my husband asked for, the 35-pound one. And we just rocked with one for a while. So we used that one for like rowing, We just did one side at a time, or one for floor pressing, just did one side at a time. So get creative with it. You can really make it work. But we went that route before getting adjustable. We do have adjustable now, just because my sister was getting different ones and they were getting a whole new home gym thing put in and they didn't want their adjustable anymore. So that is why we now have them. But I wouldn't have sought them out myself because I don't like the bulk of it. But it is really nice to have those, in between options of, oh, okay, now we could do 20s for something. I could do 35s and have two of them, that kind of thing. So just kind of maybe think about that before you dive in. But I'll give the caveat of where you're finding this might dictate what you end up with getting first. So I'll get into that of like how to actually acquire these things. But so dumbbells, heavy and light is really all you need to start. And then you might need to get some heavier ones as you go. Bands I mentioned. So when I was chatting with my friend, I said, well, do you have anchor points? Because that depends on what kind of band I tell you to get. If you don't really have anchor points in your house, and what I mean by this is like a pole or a stairwell or something that you could attach the band to horizontally, not up in a door jamb, not vertically like that, but horizontally where you could put it across from like your hips and your back, and you can row, you could do pull-off press, you can use it for glute kickbacks, all these things. If you do not have an anchor point, I'd probably just go for a band with handles, because then you're going to use your body as the anchor point on a lot of these exercises. You can do a lot of those same exercises, but you would use your body as the anchor point instead. So that's band wise. And if when you start, for my programs, I just say a medium resistance band, because that is going to be fine for most exercises. But if you do have anchor points and you want the availability to do even more exercises with the bands, I would grab a set of 4 that have the loop, that are just a big long loop. I have some options like this listed on the Healthy Catholic Moms resource page, ones that I've used and loved and that I've gifted in my programs. And I like those because you have the variety of, you can use the really light ones for face pulls, then you can use a heavier one for a row and all of that. But it's really, I find them more beneficial if you have the anchor point. So whichever is applicable to you, bands would be next. And you really could start with one. You could start with just one set of heavy dumbbells, one set of light, and a medium resistance band with handles. That gets you through majority of the exercises in all my programs. Now, those are what you need. Okay. Next up, I would focus on, these are all very cheap, and I've started using them in the Chasing Greatness group too, because they're not super cost effective. But you can also, I do want to say, like, if you were in the Chasing Greatness group and you don't have these, I always show modifications because I do consider them extras. But a foam roller, mini bands, and an exercise ball, they're just fun additions that can add variety. They're not necessary, right? But variety is fun, especially if you're working out from home and you get bored with the same exercises. That's the catch 22. Some people are like, well, I get bored just doing the same things. But if you only have dumbbells and a band, you're kind of pigeonholed into doing the same exercises. You can't have that variety without a couple more resources. So foam rollers, like, I want to say 15 to 20 bucks. I give all 3 of these things away in my 8-week challenge. It's a weekly prize as one of these. So they're all around or under 20 bucks. The mini bands are like, I want to say 15 bucks as well. And an exercise ball is more around 20. So foam roller is great because you can use it to warm up or as a recovery. You can also use it for exercises like putting your feet on it for glute bridges or putting it between your knees for glute bridges, things like that, especially if you are nursing or really nursing. There's some really great stretches that you can do with the foam roller. So love that. And then the mini bands are exactly what I was talking about, like the long bands with loops, just the small ones, the ones with a lot of tension that you put like above your knees, or some people put like below your ankle or right above your ankles. I don't use it in that position much. I mostly use it above the knees for things, but they're really great. These I've used a ton in 2023. We used it a ton in the Chasing Greatness group. And again, I just gave the option of, okay, you can do this body weight, or showed options to do it with a band if people didn't have them, but it really elevated some exercises that I was already doing that were already difficult. and was like, whoa, throw a mini band on. You're doing like side lying banded clamshells when you're laying all the way on your side and your knees and feet are together and you kind of open at the ankle, if that makes sense. Like you open your knees, but your ankles stay together and you put it back down. Doing those with a mini band is insane for your glutes. So things like that. And again, they're like $15. And then the exercise ball, that's like the big, birth ball or whatever, like the one you can sit on. That's just really fun because it gives you an unstable surface. So you can start doing things like lunges, but with your back foot on the ball, or squats, but your back is pressed against the ball against a wall. And we use these, I think I used it in September of 2023. I did a ton of workouts with the exercise ball and let the ladies know that's what we're going to look at. You can also do a ton of core with the exercise ball. It's great for that. So that one's awesome and can double as a seat. You can sit on it for if you're doing computer work or something like that. Okay, now some fun extras, and then I'll get into how we built this up and how you can do it on the cheap. So some fun extras. Again, these are super not essential, and I do happen to have everything on the list. So that's why I just wanted to share with you, like kind of what we're looking at right now, as I look around what we've got going on. But some fun extras that are not necessary, but can be good accessory stuff is an ab wheel. I've given this away as well in programs. And it's one of those one trick ponies. Like I don't love to have single use items. I don't like that in my kitchen. I don't like that in my gym, but ab rollouts are a really difficult exercise and they really rock your core. They're fun to do and it's not expensive. So that's another one that, might be fun to ask for a gift or something. Next one is a kettlebell. So this might surprise you that it was not up higher on my list. And my friend asked about that too. She's like, what about a kettlebell? The truth is there's a lot you can do with dumbbells instead of a kettlebell. Kettlebell swings are really fun. You could do dumbbell swings. There's some exercises that, if you like to do specific. I had one client who's probably listening to this who I'd program for individually. And then she was also in the Chasing Greatness group who specifically like doing different flows with kettlebells and things like that. Then you're going to want to bump this up on the priority list. But if you're just going to use it for a lot of strength training where you could use a dumbbell for it, it's not necessary, but it would fall in this fun extras kind of thing. TRX as well. So most of those first couple, like ab wheel, kettlebell, just depending on how heavy it is, are not usually super expensive. Again, kettlebell depends how heavy. But next up would be a TRX system. And this is probably the biggest investment piece I have on here. Total suspension training. Now I have a knockoff and I've always had a knockoff of it. This is a fun one because you can put it anywhere, bring it anywhere. I will bring it up to my kitchen and just put it in my kitchen door. That was a real game changer for me when I had my third kid. I remember that, where I was not making it down to the basement enough. I didn't want to give up my morning time because I needed more time to work and that kind of thing. So I would just bring it up to the kitchen and work out while they were doing breakfast or lunch or something like that. So it's really versatile and you can bring it with you when you travel. It's great core. You can pretty much do any exercise with, you're using your body as the resistance and you get a ton of core from it. So that is a really fun extra if you want to splurge on that and have a spot to do it, because in our apartment, I remember that was when we got it. And I had the only spot we could possibly do it was like it was in the bathroom doorway. It was between like the bathroom and the hallway. And I did not love that. So that was kind of a barrier to entry of me actually using it. So make sure you've got a spot you could put it. Another fun one, and this one's not as expensive, is a pull-up bar. If pull-ups are on your list, wanting to work up to body weight pull-ups, you can start with bands and a pull-up bar. That's how you start. But even if you're not worried about or wanting to do pull-ups, there's a lot of hanging exercises that are great for your grip strength, excellent for your core. So having a pull-up bar is really fun. Whenever I'm programming for a client one-on-one, I'm always like, do you have a spot where you can hang? Even if it's not a bar. Like for me, I could hang off the back of my basement stairs too, or if it's nice out, off the kids' swing set. I always ask that because it really opens up a bunch more core exercises. Okay, 3 more in the just fun extras would be a barbell. Now, obviously, if you're buying that outright, that's a big expense. But if you're getting it secondhand and things like that, which we'll go into right after this, it can, it's great for compound exercises to be able to deadlift with it, squat with it if you like to do that, push press with it, hang clean with it. There's a lot of big explosive compound exercises you can do. This is always fun to me too when a client has this and I program for them one-on-one, because I'm like, okay, we can do a couple of these other items that I do put in the Chasing Greatness workouts. but we use dumbbells. So we'll do push press with dumbbells instead. We'll even do hang cleans with dumbbells. Like, it can be done, but the barbell is a fun addition. And then the last two that we have on here, the next one's kind of medium investment, was dip and row bars. I think my husband asked for these. One of us again asked for these for some gift. And it is kind of one of more of those. Again, it's a 2-trick pony. You can do tricep dips on them and you can do rows on them. But one of the things that you'll find as you, and maybe this is already you and you've been home lifting for a while, back is one of those muscles that you can tap out on, weights with, where you're like, okay, my back's getting stronger, but all I have are these dumbbells. So all I can really do is row. If I have some bands, I can do banded lat pulls. And back tends to be the one where it's like, oh, it could take more. So pull-up bar is a great option, like I mentioned, but then these row bars can help you do inverted rows, which is a very difficult exercise. It's also based on body weight. Now you could do these with a TRX too. So I mentioned how TRX you can get full body in, which is true, but the dip or row bars are fun if you're trying to work and get better at specifically body weight exercises. When we got them, I was really on a kick of wanting to be able to do body weight dips. I'd never been able to do them before. So that was something that we invested in. Now, again, ours was probably $60 when we got it. And I know it was a gift. It was either for me or my husband. And looking at that over time too, if you're paying $20 a month for a gym membership, that's 3 months of your membership. But now we've had these forever. Like, we've had these for years, and I'm not paying a gym membership. So it does pay itself off really quickly if you look at it like that. And it's totally not a necessity. The last one on here, which is just kind of fun, and I probably use these the least of anything on this list. But they're also really cheap. So if you want to add them, they can be fun. And I will use them in workouts sometimes. They're gliders. So you can put them on a rug, or really rug is best. My gym mats, they do not work well on. So that's probably why I don't use them that much, but you can use them on a rug, and they can enhance exercises you're already doing, kind of similar to what an exercise ball does for it, where it's just taking it to an unsteady surface. So it makes it more difficult. So think like side lunge. Instead of just stepping out, lunging to the side, your foot is on a glider. So it's pushing in and out. You get a little more resistance, and you're going to feel it more in your inner thigh. You can also do some fun core exercises with them. That's what I've usually used them for in the programs. But here's the caveat. If you have a TRX or you have the exercise ball, pretty much everything you can do with the gliders, you can already do with those. So gliders are great for if you don't have a bunch of other stuff. Gliders were like one of the first things we got too. So we had like a heavy set of dumbbells, a light set of dumbbells, a band, and gliders. And I would use them for a ton of core because they don't take up much space. There's a lot of positives to them. So I just had them in a little corner in our apartment, and I would do fun core exercises and stuff with them before we got, other things. So how are you going to do this? How are you going to grow this on the cheap? 100% check Facebook Marketplace. Okay. That's what, when I look around, I'm like, wow. And that's why I mentioned some of these things being bigger ticket or smaller ticket, depending on where you get them. We do have a barbell, and that came, I don't know, we were in our apartment for 2 years, and then we were in the house by year 3 of being married. And I think I got it year 3 or year 4 for us. And I got it for Ben for a birthday gift. I remember going to pick it up. I had just Josh in the car, and I went to pick up all these weights. I think I was pregnant too, actually. And because I remember them being like, should you carry that? But it's just a bar and a whole bunch of plates and a bench for like $100. It was ridiculous. Maybe 125. Now I know this was like 5-ish years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I think. But we have gotten so much use out of that. We deadlift with it. We do, like I said, the other things I mentioned with it. Facebook Marketplace for sure. I didn't put any cardio equipment on here because I do favor doing it outside. I will say, if you're looking at getting any cardio equipment, it's a little bit personal, because if you're a person that like has to sit and work on your laptop or something, maybe then a bike is the way to go. But I do love treadmills for the idea that you can just get your steps in, because especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's really easy to be sedentary during the day. Like, besides your workout, you work out for your 20 to 30 minutes, and then it's easy to do a lot of sitting, because like sitting, playing on the floor, sitting, reading books, sitting, homeschooling, sitting, whatever. So the treadmill, again, I got for $100 off Facebook Marketplace. I remember on Easter Sunday night, because I was sitting on the couch flipping through Facebook when we'd gotten home from Easter. And I was like, hey, Ben, I'm going to get cash out and grab this treadmill. Or actually, they dropped it off. I'm like, people are dropping off a treadmill. I got to go get some cash out of the ATM. He's like, what? It was, like 9 o'clock at night. So anyways, we have a treadmill. We do have, and then I bought a spin bike this past year off of Facebook Marketplace as well. So looking around, like, yeah, check out Facebook Marketplace for the win. And then the other, if you do need things that are new or, they're just not coming up on Facebook Marketplace, honestly, probably everything we have down here, I could have gotten on Marketplace if I just, had checked enough, been patient enough. I'm sure even things like ab wheels come up, but we truly, everything else was asked for as gifts. So that might sound terrible to you or very boring, or like, yes, I'm not asking for workout stuff. Well, it all comes down to priorities, because yes, there were definitely years where I would have loved to have a nice pair of earrings or like, I don't know, a purse or something fun, more fun. But I valued getting stronger, taking care of myself, and we could not afford to just buy random gym equipment. So we asked for it for gifts. The ab wheel, like I said, was a gift. The dip bars, I know, were a gift. We also have an 80-pound dumbbell at this point that I got for my husband as a gift at one point. And I was still just like looking around. The kettlebells were a gift from Ben to me at some point. TRX, same thing. So yeah, ask for it for anniversaries, for birthdays, ask your family for it for, now we're a long way off for Christmas, but parents and things like that, if they're asking for what to buy you, it's even what you do have to buy. Like I said, if you look at the payout on it, if you bought one new item a quarter, like $15 mini bands, you might have paid $15 a month. And that's being like very low end of the spectrum, because I was looking into a gym membership for a 24-hour gym recently, and they're all like $30 now. Like, I was hard to even find baseline $15. So say you spend $30 on mini bands and on a foam roller. That could have been one entire month of a gym, but now you have this equipment going forward. So it's a great investment. Like I said, check secondhand things first. My friend actually did say 2 thrift stores the other day, and I don't think I've seen gym equipment really at the thrift stores that I've been to, but maybe I haven't looked. But secondhand things, but Marketplace, like I said, if you don't want to dig around and waste your time, Marketplace, ask for gifts and start with just a couple things to get going. Don't let it be an excuse of, oh, I don't have anything, or I don't have enough. Even if you have a singular band, you can do a lot with just a band. And that is like $10 to $15. All right. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it gives you a little bit of a trajectory. If you have questions specifically on your goals, or, what should I specifically get first off that extras list, shoot me an email, Brittany@healthycatholicmoms.com. If you want to kind of develop a plan based on your goals and what you specifically have available too, that's something where I would write you a personalized plan that I offer as well. So if you're like, yeah, I want to use my barbell, or I want to incorporate my rower or my spin bike, let's do that. It's all over at healthycatholicmoms.com, but you can email me too, and I can explain what that would look like. All right, ladies, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we are looking at next episode talking about 10 tips for getting out of a winter funk for our very last episode of January. All right. I will see you then. Have a great rest of your day.